Welcome to a brand new episode today. I am your host, Davion, and I'm joined by my boy, Matt,
What up?
my boy, Oronde,
What's poppin'?
and making his debut finally. Not debut, but return to the post game is our boy, Freddie. Welcome back, Freddie.
What's good? What's good? Thanks for having me.
How we doing, y'all?
Good.
Can't complain.
Having fun?
Pretty nice day outside.
Yeah, what's week 2 now of no football? How we holding up, man?
I'm holding up pretty good. You know, combine. I love this time when it comes to the combine and the draft and stuff. So
We got 2.5 weeks until free agency opens up because I think it's the 17th or the 16th that opens up, and I'm very excited for that. Yeah, man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Today we're gonna talk about some combine stuff. We're gonna talk about some trending topics going around too. But yeah, man, let's here's some news personally for myself. Saints have now cleared up $34 million in cap space this past week, meaning we only have roughly 42 more million to clear up, which isn't bad, man. It's a start at a new beginning to say the least. We moved around Michael Thomas' contract, Ryan Ramchek's contract, and Andreas Pete's contract, and I think that just shows that we're actually, and he's committed to us. Michael Thomas is actually wanted to stay, a Saint, so that's a plus in my books.
That's good.
Yeah, no one cares about that. Perfect.
Solid move. Solid move.
solid
There's still
move.
negative 40 mil in the can, so can't
Hey,
be that.
we need to be
Still,
positivity. That's a big one in my life. Let's be
Still
positive.
no.
speaking of
QB.
the Saints,
Uh-oh.
though, did you hear what the Dolphins are trying to do before Brian Flores sued them?
I did. They were looking at getting Sean Payton next year and Tom Brady as their quarterback as well, right?
Yep.
Which is like completely unbelievable. Like,
It's crazy.
do we think Brady would have won again?
I think he could have.
He would have brought all the attention to bring free agents there.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
What he would have.
Miami's not bad.
I think the big question is, could he have done it there too? Could he have gone and win a Super Bowl there as well?
I don't
see why he
know.
would.
Well, because also the team is just not way worse, but it's just worse than Tampa Bay. Like their O-line isn't that good.
Remember the year that Tom Brady came? They had a lot of money. They had some draft capital. I mean, the Dolphins have a lot of money right now. That they can just go out and get what Tom Brady needs to. Well, this is just if it happened. Like they could have just went out and got what Tom Brady needed. They could have got because what picks do they have? What's the Dolphins?
They have the Niners pick this year, so it's like 27th or something.
Do they have 2 first rounds or just that Niners pick?
Just the Niners pick, I think.
They could have went out and really dabbled into free agency because they have around 60, 40 something million.
Yeah, I think so.
63 and a half.
Yeah, 63. That's big in the free agent market. Especially
Right.
like veterans who want to play with Tom Brady and win a ring, they were going to take that veterans minimum to, help that team. But I don't know, man. I saw that came over my phone today actually, and I looked, and it was just bizarre for me to think that was a possibility was going to happen. But yeah, man. That's my trending topics for as of now. Y'all have anything to talk about?
I've got a couple. So we'll start with they announced the overseas games,
Yeah.
or at least some of the teams. Now, why did they think to send the Bucks to Germany as the home team? They don't even have a German player on their team. Patriots have 2 or 3, and there's one in San Francisco. They chose the worst teams outside of sending the Jags back to London because that is London's team.
Yeah. The Saints.
Yeah, it doesn't make
this
sense.
I think the
But
same in London.
Saints London, Packers London, Jags London, Cardinals Cardinals in Mexico, and Bucks in Germany
And then the Hall
for
of
the
Fame
announced teams.
was announced today too.
Hall of Fame game is Raiders Jags, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What an interesting move there.
I mean, the Hall of Fame games are never like good teams, like a good game.
Yeah, they just put random people in it.
Literally, like,
honestly,
it's never been consistent, like an interesting game, like a Browns or Steelers game, or like something to look forward to. Like who one wants to watch this?
but I get it though, because it's just like, why put all the because they're not gonna, obviously the starters and stuff, they're not gonna really be playing like that, because it's just like if they get hurt in that game, that's a problem. So I mean, I get it. It's just random teams, just get us a little taste of football before it actually comes back.
Isn't like a whole nother like week before, like after the Hall of Fame game, and we have to wait till football?
I think so.
Everyone else is
Well, it's the first game of
games.
preseason. It's the first preseason game.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's funny to look now that we're already talking about the preseason, and it's only the first week of March.
Sheesh, we have a long way to go. But combine, I just feel like when it's the combine and the draft and stuff, it helps you. It helps you to look forward to football more, because you're still talking about football and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
when is the draft? Is it April?
April 20. Oh, I got it in my calendar. April 20. I'm sorry, April 25th.
Okay.
Or it's the week of April 25th. It's late this year, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit late. I think like a week or two late. But
yeah. Because it's usually like the 13th week or something, right?
It's usually like the beginning of April, I thought.
Yeah. It being pushed so late though.
Another thing I had some new contract stuff. So that Bucks lineman retired, saving him like $10 million or something like that.
Right.
The Browns are going to offer David Njoku over $10 million a season.
I heard
really?
about that.
Ooh, that's crazy. I didn't know.
And so allegedly, Mike Zimmer was complaining about Kirk Cousins, saying that he didn't win enough or like make enough winning plays. But he was complaining about that in meetings with the team.
You just can't do that, especially if that's your QB of that's supposed to be the guy supposed to be leading a team. You just can't do that.
Yeah, and I mean, the Zimmer coach.
The last thing.
Yes, he was defensive line coach.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Was more of a problem this season than anything.
And then the Steelers, they love Malik Willis as a target in the draft, and then their supposed QB targets are Mitch Trubisky, Bridgewater, and Jameis Winston.
Yeah, those aren't really bad. Like all those options aren't really that bad. It's just Malik Willis. I feel like you gotta wait for him to develop. But like Jameis and Mitch, they're not terrible QBs. And then the Steelers offense, they still have pretty good receivers. They have Najee Harris. All they got to do.
Wait. Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston isn't terrible.
He's not terrible, but he's not great in my opinion.
But he's not good. But look at the Saints for this year. For example,
he's probably the best out of those three that they were looking at.
Yeah, like this past, you can't Jameis didn't do terrible this year with the Saints. The problem was y'all didn't have many receivers, and Kamara was hurt.
I'm not trashing him for with his production this year. He's just not the type of quarterback that I trust, and he's not the type of quarterback that I would want as a starter or as a future, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, okay. But I think Pittsburgh is just looking for a bridge guy because their defense is already amazing with TJ Watt.
Who can throw the ball down the field, because Ben obviously couldn't in his last 3 seasons. And someone who they just need somebody who can protect the ball, make smart decisions, and throw the ball right.
Yeah. And they already have Najee Harris and a pretty good young receiving core. So
I really hope they get Najee going next year.
I hope so too.
And here's the thing with Jameis. It's like you don't think Jameis can't do any better than what Ben did this year?
I do.
I think
Alright,
any of those guys can do better than what Big Ben did this year.
And it's just, I feel like that's a good move. And then if it doesn't work, or if y'all don't like him, then there's an even better quarterback draft next year where they can draft. Or if you have Malik Willis too, let's say Jameis Winston, he starts, turn the ball over, being Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Then you have the guy on the bench that can come, that hopefully, if he's ready, can come in and perform.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for y'all. Who do you think, because some of us up here are Panthers, some of y'all up here are Panthers fans anyway, who do y'all think our starting quarterback's going to be come in September?
Well,
What do you think?
I honestly, it's just, I see a little bit of so many different options. Like, I could see it being Darnold. I could see us possibly drafting a QB in the draft. I could see us trading. Like, I read something where the Panthers, they're looking for a QB, like looking to trade for a QB with a whole bunch of other teams as well. And I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they trade for like Kirk Cousins or possibly Garoppolo, but like
Kirk's not leaving. But I can't see them making any QB moves until they get a line. They have to focus on a line. They can't do anything until they get a line.
Yeah, that's why we have the 6th pick. So if we don't trade, I mean, we could trade for a QB, like a late draft pick or something, and then you can draft the offensive lineman at 6. This is a pretty good offensive lineman draft. So
yeah,
I feel like getting the piece that's going to help tremendously.
I think it's better that you draft a linebacker at 6. I mean, an offensive lineman at 6. But I also think, like Oronde said, I don't think Kurt's gone at all. I think Kurt stays there for another season. I think Russ stays in Seattle.
I don't know.
Huh?
I said I don't know.
I honestly don't see anything changing in Seattle this offseason. Because it's kind of late already to like go and get a new head coach, because it's already March and the draft the combine is next week. And so, I mean, the personnel that the coach is going to want, not look at, or, whatever the case may be. I think they run it back. Not saying what they're running back is good, but I think they run it back.
Yeah. I think what Carolina should do, I think they should just stick with Darnold for another year because they have his 5th option.
I think that's what will happen.
And then draft an offensive lineman. Or if you don't want Darnold that bad, just trade for another bridge QB for cheap. I don't know. Like a Garoppolo.
Or Trubisky.
Yeah.
Maybe Trubisky.
There's been a lot of talk around the league this past couple weeks about Mr. Trubisky being a starting quarterback in the league. Do we think he'll start come September?
I think so, especially if he gets to the right situation. I strongly believe he can. There's so many teams. There's not so many teams, but there's teams that are like, okay, if they have a quarterback that's literally performing, that's like above average, they could get into the playoffs. And I think he's one of the QBs that could definitely make a difference for a team that's kind of lacking at the quarterback position.
I think the Saints. I'm not mad the Saints pick him up.
Not a bad pickup at all.
At all, because I mean he obviously played. I mean he grew under Josh Allen and the now head coach of the Giants. They developed him into a better quarterback, and so I personally don't want Winston another year. I don't.
I mean, I can get that. You already saw what he could get you. You're just trying to see who could give you better.
I think Peyton's gone. I think we need to do a full, complete, change at the quarterback position.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too bad about that. this is a good year to do it too, because it's just like there's good veterans on the free agency that you could possibly hit on and possibly be your guy, and also there's like people say this is a good draft QB class, but it's not that bad. Like all the top 5 QBs, I could definitely see them like if they get into the right system, the right offense, they'll have a pretty good career.
Yeah. That's fair.
You got anything else, Oronde, before we start hitting in some of these guys who are looking to get drafted come April?
I think that's it. Other than I saw some more potential moves. So like a couple of restructures for at least the Patriots cap situation. You can save like $17 million by just making extensions and one signing bonus. And it's just like, how y'all not take these easy moves?
No one else thinks like you around there. That's why, But hey, I got a question. Moving on into like the NFL combine, and what players that we're looking at. North Carolina boy Sam Howell. Like, do we think like he's NFL ready?
So here's the thing with Sam Howell. I love Sam Howell. I will say he's a really good QB or whatever, but I'd hate to say it, but he's screaming Baker all over him.
I honestly, I was thinking the same exact thing.
Think about it. They're the same height and weight. Yep. They both make the same mistakes. Like, but they have the same like ceiling. Like, you feel me? You can see Baker Mayfield. You can see how good he can be, but you don't know how consistent it can be, and that's the thing with both of these QBs.
Yeah.
Man, that honestly is so true. Like, listen, we all know I don't like Baker. I just think he's just a bad quarterback. But honestly, like, if Sam Howell can come in and like not turn the ball over, make good reads, but we've seen him like, kind of lacking in that department of like making good reads like Baker does. If he can like be better than Baker and sustain that like above average quarterback play, I think he'll be like good in this league. But I think
he already has Baker's toughness and throw and play style.
Yeah.
Just give him the consistency and he's successful.
Where would he go? Like who draft this kid?
So
honestly,
I think you draft him somewhere that has a pretty good offensive line and that's just a quarterback away. Like Denver.
Denver, Pittsburgh.
The Giants didn't pick up Daniel Jones's option either.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I kind of understand that just to see if this is going to be the year to really realize if Daniel Jones is the guy or not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they're probably not going to pick it up, so they don't have to pay him and commit. I think it's $22 million to him, but they could. So if they save him for another year, then they can pay him and just convert that to a signing bonus, but it'll still be around $28 million.
That's a lot of money right there. But, you just got. I feel like this season Daniel Jones is he's gonna pick his game up to the next.
I do too. I think he'll be top 15 this season.
I could strongly agree on that because a lot of people forget like Josh Allen was not good when he got to the league. He was not accurate, nothing. And
shout out to Brian Daboll for helping him.
Brian Daboll, he helped Josh Allen come from being one of the worst QBs to a top 5 QB in the league. So I think Daniel Jones can make that big leap as well. They're both they somewhat have the same play style. They're both running mobile QBs and whatnot. So I can see it working.
And Jones has an arm. Like, I think he's a very accurate quarterback and very smart quarterback as well. He just needs an offensive line and a smart head coach to drive him and put him on a path where he can best succeed. And I think this offense.
Danny Dimes going for Vic's rushing record.
And
Yes.
I wouldn't be shocked. That man be running.
What do you do, man? What you remember he tripped like after that 80-yard run or something?
That's crazy.
And
Like, I
Turf
remember.
Turf Monster got him.
They're always there. They are always there. No, but honestly, like I think, talking about Daniel Jones and about Sam Howell, and like I think like Sam Howell's back to him real quick. It's like he's a baker. He's a Kyler without the arm and like the brain. But like I don't know, man. It's who else y'all looking into?
Well, I feel like this is a really good draft. Like I'm also because I've looked into there's the offensive tackle from NC State. He's pretty good. He's one of the top tackles. He's a former Charlotte native as well. I think he'll have a pretty good career, or like if he gets drafted. And then there's you said what?
There's only 2 truly good tackles that are gonna go early.
Yeah.
Charles Cross and what's his
Neal?
name? I think it's
The Alabama
no,
guy?
not O'Neal.
It's like
Trevor Penning.
See, I don't
Definitely
think
rated higher than O'Neal.
I don't think he's gonna be. I think he'll definitely be top 10, but I don't think he'll be like in the top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big dude though.
Yeah,
6'7", 322.
Yeah, he's a big, but like look where he came from. I'm pretty sure the school he came from is not like it wasn't a big time school.
Yeah, it was Northern Iowa.
So like I feel like
he had a nice streak though, of just like straight up awards and pancakes and whatever.
But I don't know. It was all
He also tries to model his play after I think it's Taylor Lewan, who I'm a big fan of already. So if he can play like him, then he's going to be great.
I mean, yeah, they're both same height and body weight, I guess. So,
yeah.
I mean, he could, but I feel like it's just gonna be hard. A lot of teams they always overthink it with guys, especially if they came from like not that hot, like not a big time school. They're like, oh well, he can't play for real or whatever. But he'll definitely be good. I'm not saying he won't, but I think he'll just slip a little bit.
Just on averages, the top 30 or so rated draftees are all either defensive line or secondary.
Yeah, it's a very good
defensive class this year. Yeah,
there's good receivers as well.
Yeah,
my favorite receiver in the I guess would be like that top 10 is Garrett Wilson because I did enjoy watching Ohio State play all season. Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave are my top favorites. A little biased, I will admit, but they're my 1 and 2 for as wide receivers goes.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Those are definitely good receivers. I know there's that one guy. Pretty sure his name's Trey Burke. He plays for Arkansas. Yeah,
okay.
he's like 6'3", 225. I think he's gonna be like one of those big body receivers that's gonna come in and just have could possibly become like a Pro Bowl in his rookie season.
They have Traylon Burks going around like 17th overall.
Yeah, so it's gonna be he's gonna be probably drafted later in the first round, just like how Justin Jefferson was.
Yeah, that's true.
But my number one favorite draftee is Kyle Hamilton.
100%. I'm on his train too. He's 6'4", 220. It runs like a 4.3. Like he is a freak. Like you could put him anywhere on the field that you want to. Like he's gonna be like a game changer. How Michael Parsons was last year.
Mm-hmm.
If he can cover half the field by himself, you don't even need strong safety help just for him.
Right. So he's definitely an interesting prospect. I think he's gonna be very good in the NFL.
Yeah. Let's see. One guy, obviously, you got to be a little biased. My boy, Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon.
Definitely like a Davion Clowney
Yeah, I've
comparison.
seen Brian Arakpo even.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a decent one. I think he's like pro. I think he's pro ready. He's got great speed, good strength, but I just think if he just fixes his technique, he'll be like 10 times better. But that's really it. Like he could honestly play anywhere and be fine for now. So I'm not surprised if he goes top 3. Honestly, to like Detroit or Houston, one of those two. Maybe the wild card for me, if he somehow slipped to like Atlanta, would be kind of interesting at 8. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think the only way he'll slip is if like he has like not a good combine or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's been slipped. Because I remember before, like in the middle of the season, he was projected to be that #1 pick of the draft.
Yeah,
and he's kind of like slipped a little because he got hurt a little. But I think he'll have like a dominant combine, and he's gonna definitely be like a top 5 for block.
Yeah.
So never know him and Aiden Hutchinson. This is a really good defensive end class.
Who do you think is going to be better, Hutchinson or Thibodeau?
See,
Hutchinson,
I don't know.
but Hutchinson tore up Ohio State's line when he shouldn't have.
That's true.
Like that's true. Like Hutchinson, I feel like Hutchinson, he might be like I think he's pro ready 100%. But I just feel like the difference between the two, it's like it all depends on where they go. I feel like Hutchinson, he'll have to be like a pretty I don't know. I just feel like Thibodeau, he can because he's just such like a big he's just such a big athletic freak. You could put him in like kind of almost any defense you need to put him into. Opposed to Hutchinson, he's like he has to be in the right defensive scheme.
Yeah.
Even though he's good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Where's Davion been at?
I'm here. I'm just listening to y'all speak. I don't. The college like football, like I watch it like not very religiously at all. And so it's like not really a big like kicker for me. The pro stuff is where I'm at.
I get that.
I mean, when it comes to like the combine for me, like especially, like I honestly like, especially now us the Saints needing a quarterback. Like I'm just looking at quarterback. Like I'm looking at the Matt Corrals. I'm looking at the I don't really want Sam Howell, but we never know what happens. I'm looking at the Kenny Pickett's, who people have said is the most quarterback ready. NFL ready quarterback coming out of this draft. Looking at Malik Willis, but like I don't know, Malik Willis, like it's Liberty. They don't really play anybody in particularly like great. I think they played Ole Miss this season, which is an SEC team, and he didn't really have the best game. Kenny Pickett, I mean, it's Pittsburgh. They don't really play anybody great either. But like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Matt Corral is a quarterback at hand that a lot of like teams should look for because he plays in the SEC. I mean, he has to play against those Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, like these high these cornerbacks and safety secondary that are NFL ready type caliber. You know what I mean? And so yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just look for the quarterbacks just because that's like one of my favorite positions in the league. But that's why I've been quiet. I not that I'm gone or anything. I just don't know much about college football.
I understand. I don't really watch a lot of college football either. It's just I get this around this time I start like looking. I'm like, okay, like because I like to just look at all especially the positions that like the like my team likes or that needs. Yep. So I'll just look into that and be like, oh, this is a very strong class for like let's say if like for quarterbacks for example, we're like okay, even though we're at 6, I just don't think it's the smartest idea for them to get a QB at 6. So I'm just looking at other positions. It's like okay, we can plug this guy in and he'll be pretty good because I've also heard I've heard the idea of the Panthers getting Sauce Gardner at 6, which isn't that bad because I don't think Gilmore is going to stay and I think Dante Jackson's going to be gone. So you get another good young corner in your first round. Or I've also seen I also really like the center from Iowa, and he's even though it's a center at 6, but I think he'll definitely help out the Panthers' offensive line struggles tremendously.
I mean, for sure, harping off what you said, I think the Panthers should go for offensive linemen. I think the Saints go for. There's a couple different things we have to look out for. I think offensive lineman is always one that you can never not go wrong with.
Right.
I like receiver because I think last year showcased that we don't have good receivers. Or not. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have a strong number 2 receiver. And so we lack in that department whenever Michael Thomas goes down. Then we don't even have a number 1 or number 2 receiver. And so now we're looking at, just a very limited, passing offense, which we saw last season for the Saints. I like quarterback. I don't know, man. I just don't know about these quarterbacks coming out. But if I'm about to say Sean Payton, if Dennis Allen, our new head coach, if he feels the need to shoot for a quarterback, or if he's something in free agency with quarterback position, or, no one knows if he wants to keep Jameis Winston. I mean, it's completely up to, new management now. And so I think it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Right. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's just all depends on what happens.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Because, I don't really want to talk about the time. Now, I'm not going to say that. No. Here's a question. What do we think a surprise is going to be? What move do we think come March 16th? What do we think a big surprise is going to be?
I really don't know. I just think, I think eventually, Deshaun Watson, or eventually that trade is going to be nuts whenever that's able to happen. But I don't know. I really don't know because NFL nothing really shocks me now with what happens.
I think whatever happens at Seattle, I think there's 2 things that are going to cause a rift. Well, 3 things. I think Jimmy G's going to cause a rift, and people are going to move around. I think whatever happens in Seattle, if anything happens in Seattle, happens, that'll cause a huge change. Whether that's Pete Carroll leaving, whether that's Russell Wilson leaving, which I think will be more impactful if Russell Wilson leave. And I think, like you just said, the Deshaun Watson situation, wherever he goes, whether it's to Carolina, whether it's to the Giants, whether it's to who else is he talking to? The Vikings, I think it is. There's a lot of things that could happen that cause a huge rift in the NFL.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Especially what happened this year. The Rams, they just trade for a veteran QB and win the Super Bowl. So I think a lot of teams are definitely gonna,
it's
try to figure that out.
It's happened in 3 years.
So it's when a veteran quarterback leaves and goes to another team, they win the same year. Peyton was the perfect example of that. They're 3 for 3 on the last 3 people to do it.
So
we had Peyton Manning do it. We had
Brady
do it. Now we've had Stafford do it. Wow. That's who's the
I think
maybe Rodgers. Oh, the whole Rodgers situation.
Yeah,
talk about that.
I think that's going to be the biggest thing. If
Yeah.
Rodgers asks for a trade, then that's going to be the biggest what if, basically, where he could possibly end up. But most
also,
likely,
we can't forget about Indianapolis because they're going to get rid of Wentz,
that's true.
Yeah, that is right.
or at least it's highly likely to get rid of Wentz.
I mean, they'll save a lot of money if they get rid of Wentz. If they right, yeah, because you got.
Well, I think it'll still be about $15 million in dead cap space because of the way his deal was structured, and they absorbed the first year of money. But it'll still save them so much effort in the salary cap world that they should get rid of him.
Yeah.
Man,
that's just math off my head. I didn't read his contract. I just remembered the numbers.
I honestly completely forgot about Rodgers, man, and Wentz. Those whole situations are gonna it's gonna be some mess in the NFL. Like wherever Rodgers go, I mean, we just said that whenever these veteran quarterbacks leave and join new teams, I mean, they win Super Bowl. So like, could this be Rodgers? Could this be his time to really showcase that he's actually a quarterback winning? A Super Bowl winning quarterback. No, we know he's done it, but
Yeah, depends where he goes, I guess, or what he does.
What are the
Also-
odds that he goes to Oakland? Oh, not Oakland, Las Vegas.
I don't see
No.
why
I
not.
don't know. But quick side note, I just pulled up Wentz's contract. So he's out for his potential out is 2023 would be his 4-year, $106 million contract still that he's still on technically. But if they out him for it, it doesn't go against the cap at all. So they can just move him if they really felt like it after this. Well, technically after this year, they could wait and save millions, or they can move him now and waste 20.
I mean, but
Also-
I think he's
Also, Wentz is only 29. I thought he was older for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like you should. I feel like you take the risk on him. Like even though I was very hard on him or whatever, but if you look at his numbers and his stats, he put up pretty good numbers. I think he only threw like 7 interceptions and threw like 30 touchdowns.
Carson Wentz.
It's only up from here.
Carson Wentz, right?
Yes.
But he choked those last 2 games.
Yeah, he did choke. I'm not gonna say he did definitely
You got
choke.
to win one of your last 2, and one of those last 2 was Jacksonville.
He's also playing hurt
Yeah.
though.
Huh?
As soon as he hurt his leg, I think like week 6 or week 7 has been the downward spiral because he's trying to play hero ball. Like again, he sprained both of his ankles. Who in the world is spraining both of their ankles on the same play? Why are you throwing while getting tackled by Aaron Donald? Like,
Listen, we know he's
why?
Mr. Glass. That we know he's Mr. Glass.
He was trying to play like Phillip Rivers was.
Hilarious.
Right.
Listen, I just
All right. Hey,
I-
I'm sorry to interrupt you all boys, but I have to go. Right? I'm gonna have to go.
okay. Well, thanks for being on, Freddie. We appreciate you having you on.
Thank you,
No
Freddie.
problem. My fault. I'll talk to y'all later, my boys.
All right, buddy.
See you.
But yeah, no, I think it's funny, like now that I really think about like how many moves could happen, like how many moves can change at the quarterback position, like that we just named off. I mean, it's crazy because I think Devontae's gonna leave Green Bay. I think Aaron's gonna leave Green Bay. I think Carson Wentz is gonna leave the Colts. There's
So,
a
like,
bunch of
I think the most realistic thing will be Watson's going to get traded. That's probably the most realistic thing that'll happen unless something with the lawsuits.
yeah.
But like and then the second most would probably be Rodgers, then Russ. But like I feel like Rodgers has to leave.
I mean, especially after this past week, what it came out about him with this past week. I mean, about him wanting, that was true, isn't it? Like him wanting more money.
He wanted $50 million.
Yeah, which is
It's
So I don't
not
know-
true. He doesn't want. It's not 50 million. 50 million is not his price. It's not true.
it's like 45, right?
No, it's the whole thing that he wants to be the most paid quarterback. It's not true.
Well, I wasn't saying.
What
Because
does he want?
he already had that title since 2018 when he signed his initial contract extension.
And then Mahomes came along.
Yeah, he still doesn't. He did not want. That's just narratives that were pushed because I forgot her name, but she went on the Rich Eisen show and was saying that from leaked sources that he wanted the money, but that's just a false statement. They just took it and ran.
What do you think he wants then?
He just has to decide if he wants to stick around, maybe restructure so he can have more cap space and bring more weapons in. Or I won't say weapons, but I don't even know what the Packers need. I'm gonna be honest. What do they need to win it?
Lighten his ego?
Yeah, and
That's basically it.
And actually play good football.
But no. he could be on a move. He could pull a Brady, but regardless of that fact, he doesn't. The only way he like changes his contract is to make more space to bring people in. Otherwise, I don't think Rodgers leaves.
Well, also with Devontae Adams, because wherever Rodgers goes, he's going, and that team's going to have enough money to give Devontae like the most money for a receiver because he's already asking for that, and like to hold Rodgers' contract too. So like, I genuinely don't know like what they could do. Like I kind of feel like Devontae might just be on a completely different team without Rodgers.
Yeah.
If like Rodgers retires or just like gets traded somewhere. So I don't know.
He'd have to go through the Packers to get traded because the Packers have a no trade clause on him. The way that his contract is signed up
On Devontae?
Rodgers?
on Rodgers, not Devontae.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe Devontae is unrestricted. So
Yeah. But like would Devontae, if Rodgers like let's say Rodgers leaves or retires, would Devontae even stay with Jordan Love?
It's a good question.
I don't think he's just like the Trey Lance conversation. I don't think Jordan's ready yet. I think he needs one more season.
Do you think Trey Lance is ready or no?
No. I think he also needs one more season, and that's it.
I like Trey Lance.
Then it's proven. I like Trey Lance
good,
too, but
we haven't seen enough.
He has the big play potential. Like he opened up his career with a 75-yard bomb, but he doesn't have that progression or the reads like Matt Jones has in his first season or Justin Herbert had in his first season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, and I think it's because of what I was hitting on about these quarterbacks getting scouted now and drafted now these days. It's like they don't play in the SEC where they have to play against top tier cornerbacks in the league. What division was that Lance was in?
He was in North Dakota State, so I think that's still Division I, but not the toughest opponents.
Yeah,
like they sweep every year. North Dakota is a powerhouse in the North. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The QBs will probably be the biggest thing for free agency. And then I feel like for the draft, it'll just be defense. Like
defense and linemen, like always.
Yeah, because I genuinely don't think, besides Pickett, I don't think there's a starting QB.
Do y'all think that
Corral?
Devontae?
No.
Well, not Corral. I mean,
the only people I would trust starting is maybe Willis and Pickett.
Willis over Corral.
That's valid.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
why is that?
I agree with that.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, yes, I'm fine with that.
But I do have a question. Do y'all think Devontae wants more than his last contract, which is 4 years, $58 million?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, he said that he wants to be the best. He wants to be the highest paid receiver in the league, and he deserves it. But like,
they don't have it.
So I don't know. Like, I've seen stuff where he goes to like Jacksonville, and I'm like, why the hell would he do that? Or like the Raiders
does he
would
want
be
to play with?
More. I think the Raiders would be a cool.
In order for him, go ahead.
I was gonna say like
the Raiders,
because you just team up with Derek Carr again.
For him to make the most money, because the top three wide receiver contracts right now is DeAndre at $54 million with an average of 22 and a quarter million a year. Julio Jones at $22 million a year on a $66 million deal, and Keenan Allen on an $80 million, $20 million a year deal.
Ooh.
Oh, Keenan.
So you got to get up there for him to be paid as much as he wants.
I don't think that money should. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it whatsoever, because I think he does, but I don't think it should be dished out like that. I mean, you can't put that much money in a receiver because the Saints did it. Now look at us now. Now we're in the hole. A lot of money.
Yeah, but do you think Devontae?
Well, that's because the Saints paid everybody and just kept rolling the ball down the
yeah,
hill.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can't pay everybody at once. Besides, outside of the Patriots' mild success into getting to the second round of playoffs, if you pay everybody, especially free agents, you don't do well.
Yeah.
It's just science. It's not even science. It's just facts. Just how it is.
Yeah.
The Patriots are the only ones, or one of only 3 teams to spend $100 million plus and have a winning record the following season.
Has there ever been like a free agent signing that has been like drastically good for a team, like where they become like a contender?
Here's something. Yeah. Well, no, I can't say that. I'm not going to say
A
that.
biased example is Randy Moss to the Patriots.
But they didn't win, right? But they were contenders.
They lost to Eli that year.
That's right. Okay.
Pain.
What about like for a QB? Like, was there like a QB that was signed and they became like really, really good? I don't even know.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then.
Tom Brady.
Well, Brady, yeah. Most recent example. And Stafford.
But
well, that wasn't a free agent. That was more of a trade. But yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Never
well,
mind.
Technically, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, Stafford was like, let me go down to Cabo and talk to Sean McVay.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Vic did come back from prison and then go to Philadelphia and was like, cool, we're a winning team now.
Oh, here we go. I was talking to Freddie about Mike Vick today, and the conversation came up. It's gonna be like a little transition point, but why not? The conversation came up about Cam Newton being a I think he said NFL changing quarterback. That like he led the way to like the mobile quarterbacks that we see now, like Josh Allen and
Lamar.
Well, you had Donovan McNabb first.
Yeah, they did.
That's true, but I think Vic was the essential.
Vic
Vic was
was
different.
So I actually, speaking of said quarterbacks, people are still arguing on Twitter about Hall of Famers because some idiot was like, Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer. That's not true. But they were complaining because somebody was like, well, Vic's a Hall of Famer, and then if Vic's a Hall of Famer, that means Cam's a Hall of Famer. But I don't think Vic is.
No.
I'm gonna be honest.
Is Cam a Hall of Famer?
Because Cam has the accolades too, just not the rings. But you don't need rings to be a Hall of Famer. That's been proven.
I personally don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Period.
It would be cool.
I would give him the chance to be. Just off accolades alone, he has a laundry list of records per team and national, and the amount of time that he did it in, what he was able to accomplish. But he's also the product of a bad team.
Yeah.
And poor management of his abilities. And then injuries leading to his downfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Vic, Vic played amazing, started to change the game, went away, then came back a better passer.
Went away.
Still not better than Cam, but he was able to revolutionize himself.
Yeah. That's true.
But I would give Cam more of an opportunity than Vic, if I'm going to be honest.
It would be interesting if he somehow made it in. It would take a while.
Because then
it would take a while.
And another biased example of mine is when Edelman retired, they're like, cool, put him in a Hall of Fame. And I was like, no, but it'd be nice. So I know they won't, but it'd be nice.
Yeah.
He was a security blanket, 3 rings, Super Bowl MVP. Mediocre stats, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, but what about Phillip Rivers? He was but
No.
If you go to Rivers, he's a stat pattern on a bad team.
No, you couldn't put Phillip Rivers on a good team. He would be good, in my opinion.
Well, he never got the opportunity. We don't go off a hypothetical.
I feel like he is like the Russell Westbrook of the NFL.
It's not a bad one.
You know what? That's pretty accurate. I don't like how accurate that is, given I'm a Russell Westbrook fan.
Oh, that bum.
No, we're not talking about.
I ain't saying recent. I haven't been watching too much NBA
We're not
basketball,
talking about
but
this.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about that later. I'm excited about this conversation.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, no. I think my overarching like theme of the day in my head anyway is that like quarterback and offensive line wins you Super Bowls, and without that, then you can't do anything. Hopefully the Saints can have a good draft and get back to where we were a couple of years ago with the draft, and hopefully we go out and acquire some more, different pieces.
When is the Saints' first pick?
16th?
Are they 8? No,
16th
they're 18.
or 18th, something like that. Something in that gap. It's 16th, 17th, or 18th. No, don't.
Interesting.
We gotta do that. Don't do the
No, I think they'll probably get a QB there. Honestly,
I have no idea.
Let them get Matt Corral. But they do have Ian Book. They have 3 quarterbacks.
Ian Book,
well, 2.5 if you want to be.
look,
Ian Book was also not
on
ready.
that team are bad.
Yeah, my team.
Ian Book was also not ready. He's underdeveloped. He was underdeveloped at Notre Dame, and I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Uh-oh.
They didn't give him his opportunities.
Yeah.
Plus, the play calling is more for a running game, which they ran heavily off of, and more for their tight ends rather than Ian Book actually making plays. So that's the T on that.
I don't know. It'll be an interesting. We got what was it called?
Combine.
Combine. Yes. We'll talk about it a little bit more next week to give our reflections on who looked the best and who looked decent, I guess. But I'm excited about the quarterback play coming into next week at the combine, and we'll be here to talk about it next week. Anything else from y'all this week before we go?
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm excited to see these new prospects and hopefully learn. Some people I've never heard of. Maybe they catch my eye. So
mainly the ones who run a 4 flat. Those are the guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Those are the ones.
I just want to see who will run the fastest 40 this year. I'd put my money on Chris Olave for it.
That's that receiver from Ohio State.
Yes, Ohio State.
That's the one.
One of the two.
He's fast, bro.
One of the two.
Yeah.
For next season though, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Oh yeah.
Boy was putting up video game numbers.
Yep.
Ohio State's always loaded with wide receivers, and it's crazy.
And they never make it to the playoffs.
Shut your mouth.
And that's why I'm going to end this episode off this week. Thanks for listening. Before we go, I know this is not a political, this is not like a trending topics podcast, but prayers out to those in Ukraine. Keep fighting strong. We have our thoughts and prayers with everyone there.
Yep.
But yeah, Ohio State for L's. I hope everybody enjoyed the podcast this week. I've been your host, Davion.
I'm Matt.
I'm Oronde.
And this has been the post day.